Morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. We start our service this morning, as we do every week, by centering into that awareness of the presence of God. And I want to tell you, first of all, love is so powerful, and we have been feeling your love and prayers, Jerry and I, and we're so grateful. And to continue on with that high consciousness as we walk through this journey of healing. And Jerry's watching this morning. He can't wait to be back, so wave and say, "Hi, Jerry." So let's start our service by singing together here in this place where we find that presence of God. Here in this place, we come together, feeling the presence of God. Here in this place, one with each other, knowing who we really are. Then we are called to carry our light and shine it all over the world. Here in this place, we find acceptance. Here in this place, we find connection. Here in this place inside, we find the presence of God. We find the presence of God.
On this day in Advent, I remember love is the core of my being. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. You're all very, very vibrant today on this wonderful December 12th day. Welcome to our community of love and light for all of those of you out on live stream. We are joyously expressing God's greater vision in our lives. My name is Michelle Coles, and I am happy to be assisting Bruce Price today from the platform. We would also like to extend a special welcome today to our live stream viewers. Whether you are watching from the next city over or from across the globe, know that we feel your presence and are holding you in prayer. At Unity Spiritual Center, we are about transforming lives. Unity is more than a Sunday experience. We offer many opportunities throughout the week to expand your awareness of God and to bring us closer to each other. The Community Lunch and Learn will be Tuesday, December 21st. That's not this Tuesday, that's next Tuesday. Tuesday, December 21st at noon. Join us for a delicious meal and conversation. Our Winter Solstice Labyrinth Walk is Tuesday, December 21st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The theme is Bringing in the Light. We will be outside, so dress appropriately. And now I would like to call Kathy Ginter up to the stage.
Good morning, everybody. It's me once again. Just want to remind you that after service, we've got tons of cookies. So come to the community room for fellowship and cookies and have a good time. But before you go to the community room, you need to stop in the spirit room because the kids are going to have a short program. So after service, we got some good things to do. Spirit room, then community room and cookies. See you later.
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, so the kids are really excited about this, so please, after service, go and visit them in the spirit room and then go get your cookies and coffee. Because if you go get your cookies and coffee and then go to the program, you might miss it. I'm just saying. Please be sure to check your bulletin and the website for detailed information on all of our ongoing classes and activities, and be sure to check out our special events section for new spiritual enrichment activities. Now let's stand and share our celebration song.
As we continue our journey to Bethlehem, please take some breaths during this song. I find that I run out of breath, so you got to breathe to make this work. The journey begins with something deep inside. It's starting to come alive, like a mystical, magical carpet ride. You feel it, but you don't know why. A part of your senses there is more to this life, much more than you can see. You open the door that's been held shut tight, and you enter in the mystery. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, where we roam. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, finding our way back home. We're spiritual beings in a human form. We're learning to become aware. God is with us at all times. He travels with us everywhere. When we follow the path of our inner star, it will open up our mind and heart. As we travel the road in a loving way, we'll experience a brand new start. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, where we roam. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, finding our way back home. Do that one more time. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, where we roam. We are all born to journey to Bethlehem, finding our way back home, finding our way back home.
Please remain standing and let us repeat our church affirmation together. Choosing to stay centered no matter what, I know that life is the infinite endowment of God, and eternal life is happening now. Please be seated.
morning. Hello, my name is Bob. And the daily word for today is love. And the affirmation is, love lights my way. In this Advent season, as I prepare my heart for the rebirth of my inner Christ child, I take a moment to connect with the spirit of love within. Sometimes this season may seem about presents, food, celebrations, but it is really about love. Love is the power upon which the whole world revolves, especially at this busy time of year. I want to stay tuned to the love of the Christ within. Through this reciprocal power, the love I give returns to me abundantly. Love transcends all, transforming my perceived negativity into a blessing. I express love in all my words and actions. I may give a plate of homemade food or send a heartfelt note of appreciation. Whatever I do, I let love in my heart be my guide. The scripture for today is from Mark chapter 12, verse 31. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater. Let us repeat the affirmation together. Love lights my way.
Let's continue that idea of love lighting our way as we center into our time of meditation and prayer this morning. Love is only possible if it's from inside me, given for the love of love. God is all I see. Love is very powerful, the key to heaven's gate. As I open up my heart, my life is filled with love. Do that one more time. Love is only possible if it's from inside me, given for the love of love. God is all I see. Love is very powerful, the key to heaven's gate. As I open up my heart, my life is filled with love.
I invite you to join me in a time of meditation. Begin by just relaxing in the security and the sanctity of this place. Close your eyes if you like, to open your imagination to the infinite. And just let go of all the thoughts, intentions of doing anything, and allow yourself to be in this moment. Use the rhythm, the natural rhythm of your breath to help center you in that presence. Just notice how your body naturally cares for you, keeps you comfortable, keeps you safe. And from the inspiration of our breathing, let's bring our focus to our heart. You may be able to feel it beating, working in the symphony with your lungs. In our heart are all the answers. We're thinking today about the meaning of Christmas. Open your heart to that idea by thinking about, well, let the heart do the thinking. Let the heart communicate to the mind. Focus the heart on gratitude. What gifts are you thankful for? Health, family, opportunity, infinite possibilities. Let grace bless you. And just let your heart dwell on the love that you have to share and receive. Let your heart ponder the meaning of this time, this moment, this Christmas, as we go into the silence. And a blessing upon each of you. And you can sit quietly in this serenity as we move forward to a time of prayer.
And so, as we begin our time of community prayer, we stay in the oneness, the connection that we found in meditation, surrounding ourselves with the love which is within and all around us. If we are just aware and attuned, if we allow the rebirth of the spirit of love within, center in this place now. Release any negativity, any despair, any sense of aloneness. Give no power to any feeling of separation from others, to any error thought, to any worry about the future or regret from the past. Come into the light of knowingness, wholeness, faith in the one power and one presence, God, the good. Allow this to lift you like a helium balloon and pray from this place, the secret place of the Most High, this place of gratitude and grace. And from this place, call to mind any persons or situations for whom you would pray today. See them in their divine potential, not in any lack. See them not in the problem, but in the solution. Hold each one in the place of possibility. See them in the perfection of their Christhood, the unlimited potential, no matter the circumstance or situation. Behold the Christ in each as you say the name silently or aloud. As we continue with our prayers, we hold our dear Unity Spiritual Center in this place of possibility, and we bless the center, feeling gratitude for all that is provided, for the opportunity to live these ideas and love one another, centered in the truth. And for all of our leaders, our volunteers, our staff, for this congregation, so grateful for each one who gives of their time, talent, and treasure, grateful for the way each one expresses and upholds our community in love. And from that same place of gratitude, we thank God for our new minister, seeing rightly that all is in divine order, with the process led by our search team, with whom we affirm. Joyously, I am affirming the right minister is drawn to our congregation, and our congregation is drawn to this right minister in perfect divine order, and I am grateful. So it is. As a reminder, on Wednesday, an email went out requesting community prayer for Jerry Sergel, our cherished musician who has played here for over 60 years. Jerry's leg was severely injured in an accident recently. The email, which included a prayer, asked that we all set our alarms and pray for Jerry's healing at 9 p.m. each evening. Let's all join together in this prayer, and remember to set your alarms and join in prayer from our homes each night. My name is Lori Grimes. I'm the prayer chaplain for today, and if you would like individual prayer after the service, I'll be available in the prayer sanctuary. Thank you.
This season. Season of love, a chance to shine in the darkness, to be hope, to give joy all over the world. It's Christmas, season of love. Christ is here within us, in our hearts, through our hands. Love is the season.
Thank you. Good morning. Is it Christmas yet? Is it starting to feel like Christmas, even despite the Florida-like conditions? I'm curious, I'm usually curious, when is it or what is it that happens for you that makes it start to feel like Christmas? You know, there's probably some similarities, probably some differences between each of us. Is it putting up the tree? This year we put up our tree very early. Right, Nikki? Hearing Christmas carols? How about the last day of school or work before you have a break? I know my son likes that. So do I, actually. How about Advent services? Is that what does it for you? Yeah. Maybe shopping for gifts, or, where's Kathy? Cookies. Or even, maybe, snow. We got a winner. All right. Okay, so it's the third week of Advent, so there's 4 of them. So we focus on faith, we got the candles to prove it, peace, and today, love. So next week, joy. Get ready for that. So, but today we're going to explore love, and the talk title is about the meaning of Christmas. So I'm going to give you an option here. You can go for the short talk or the long talk. So here's the short talk. In a nutshell, the meaning of Christmas is love. All right. And so it is. Be careful what you ask for. I'll get, because we could just wrap it up right now and go home and start pre-gaming for the Browns. The Browns are going to come up a couple of times. They came up last week. We're giving the Browns, well, was it last week? Yeah. We're giving the Browns grace, and they took a day off, a week off to give us grace. But today, the whole thing starts again. I'm feeling Christmas, that's all I'm going to say. So I want to explore the meaning of Christmas. The fact that Christmas is love, I think, is simply true, but neither Christmas nor love is simple. Not even close. So we got to dig a little deeper. Love is a big concept. So I did a little research. I've heard these things before, but I delved a little deeper into the Greeks. They've explored all the different types of love. So if you'll stick with me for a bit, we'll talk about, I think there's 7 or 8 of them. 7 or 8 types of love. Now, I heard somewhere that Eskimos, I don't know if this is true, but we're going to talk a lot about it. It doesn't really matter if it's true, if it's meaningful. But I heard they have like 50-odd different names for snow. Anybody ever heard that? Yeah. Well, it makes sense, though, because, when you're trying to describe something you've seen to somebody, there's just a lot of variation, and being able to get specific and articulate what you see, that's why we give things names. Say, oh, I saw pebble snow, or who knows what the names are, and I'm sure they're not in English, so it's probably more like unga and unika and things like that. But we'll start with agape. It's not snow, it's love. Has anybody not heard of agape love? Okay, so everybody's heard of it. But so what is this? It's the brotherly love, the charity, the love of God for man and of man for God. It's also feelings we have for one's children and spouse. For Christians, maybe us, agape is the unconditional love of God for his children. And also Thomas Aquinas defined it as the will to do good for another. So I think Christmas has got a lot of agape. Okay? Then there's eros. This is more like the intimate romantic love. At least that's what I always thought. But as I delved into it a little deeper, Plato and Socrates, they did a lot with this. And, initially eros can start out on a physical level. But if you stick with it, it goes deeper into the appreciation of beauty and ultimately the beauty within. So and then there's a lot more. And maybe in February, we'll talk more about this, because that's the month for that. This is Christmas. But Plato, in that, described how physical contact really isn't necessary, or physical attraction, actually, not contact. And so love without the necessity of physical attraction. Have you heard of a platonic relationship? That's what this is. Philia, Philadelphia. Anybody been there? City of brotherly love. So affectionate regard, friendship, loyalty to friends, family, community, another aspect of love. I think it shows up at Christmas. We just went to a community gathering last night. It was fun. There was a lot of love. Here's the one that cracked me up. I don't know who's heard of this. I never heard of this. Storge. Had anybody ever heard of storge love? This isn't like a thing you rent to put your stuff in. I love it so much I got to put it in storage. That's like a Jeff Foxworthy word, Storage. Like, did you bring your pickup with you, or did you widget? Never mind. I'm not going to try to be Jeff Foxworthy. I do think he's funny, though. That's a different kind of love that he gives. But storage is common or natural empathy, like what parents feel for their offspring. But here's the kicker. It's also used for referencing the love of one's country or for a favorite sports team. So I storage the Browns. I don't know if you're going to see that sign in the stadium today when they pan the crowd or not. Philatia is a self-love. I never really, I don't know if I heard that one before. And so it's regard for one's own happiness or advantage. And here's the thing about Philatia. It's got a good side and it's got a dark side. And wherever there's light, there's the potential of dark. Well, actually, there's only the potential of dark where there is no light. Because dark is not the opposite of light. It's the absence of light. But in any case, a healthy version of Philatia is self-compassion. A lot of that we talked about last week, about giving ourselves grace. When it goes dark or unhealthy, that's when we get self-obsessed, and that can lead to vanity and selfishness, and we've probably all, if not expressed it, at least observed it. Probably observed. Just to remind you, when I'm talking about this stuff, I'm talking about me, and you guys can eavesdrop if you want, and if you agree or find similarities for yourself, that's okay. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, I think. I'll keep checking myself on that. Xenia, which I thought was a town in Ohio, and I'm pretty sure it still is, and it seems to be, it's attractive to tornadoes. Because twice in my life, and I guess I don't mean to laugh about that, but twice in my life they've had big tornadoes hit there. So it's in a spot that's prone. But what Xenia means, and I'm sure the town is like this, it means hospitality, guest friendship, or the kind of the ritualized friendship where we have those habits of being generous to strangers and foreigners and exchanging gifts and being reciprocal. And when the president goes to a foreign country, there's always this exchange of gifts that goes on. We don't always see it in the public, but it's just part of that ceremony of being friendly and loving toward each other. There's also ludus, Ludus, which is playful, flirtatious, uncommitted love with a focus on fun. So I think the Roaring Twenties when I think that. And then the last one on my list today is called pragma. And from the base, you can guess what that means, pragmatic. So practical love founded on reason or duty and focusing on your longer term interests. Like, we'll stay married for the kids. I don't know. Or a lot of times in our world, the way we do things, there's arranged marriages. So they probably do a lot of pragma love. But in any case, what's the point of all that? Maybe it felt like an academic lecture, but this is just scratching the surface of trying to define the surface of snow in terms of love. You know, there's probably at least as many different interpretations of love as the Eskimos have for snow, is what I'm saying there. And love is complex, and today we're talking about love. But it's also simple, because you just go to your heart, and your heart will guide you. We have to just be willing to listen to it. So love is big and love is complex, but guess what? So is Christmas. I think Christmas is equally complex. You know, in the simple terms, Christmas is the birth of a man that we celebrate. You know, this guy Jesus was born somewhere. I absolutely believe he was born, and I'm really glad, and we're going to talk a lot about that next week, about the joy of that. Maybe it was Bethlehem. It really doesn't matter. We'll get to how it doesn't matter. But you know, even as a Christian, or whatever you call yourself, Christmas is more than just that. That's really just the beginning. Although, again, next week we're going to kind of really explore how big of an opening that beginning created for us in our consciousness and in our lives and in our experience. There's a lot to be excited about. But it's way more than that. And here's the thing. It's way more than that to people who aren't Christians. Christmas is that one holiday that people celebrate that have no association with the religion of which the holiday is about, supposedly. So Christmas has grown into this much bigger concept. And there's a lot of different levels of meaning to it. There's certainly a religious meaning. There's also, I have a list. Okay. Spiritual meaning? I think so. Family meaning? I mean, isn't it nice to be home for the holidays? Something like that. That might not be the tune, but those words are in there. But you hear it in the songs, you know, about, you know, going through the woods at Grandma's house, you know, and we're not going to talk about Robert Frost, but a little bit later we're going to talk about where'd my friend go? We're going to talk about Frosty. So there's family and community, like right now. Cookies. Yeah. There's also, and let's not throw shade on this, there's commercial aspects of Christmas. I mean, I've heard it said, and I suppose there's truth to it, that, you know, businesses, retail businesses, they work all year to pay the expenses so they can make profit in December. And so when December's good, it's good. And when it's not as good for them. So there's a lot of commercial, and a lot of folks, we call them secular if they're not like in with the Christian thing. Maybe it's all about commercial, but the commercial's a means to an end, because it's really about gifts and giving. And maybe we over-index on that a little bit, but that's probably because the importance of Christmas and the meaning of Christmas has some deep, deep cultural things. And this goes way past 2,000 years ago. Again, preview of coming attractions. We're going to look a little closer at that next week. And then finally, there's an element of kind of building on that cultural meaning and reason for Christmas. There's an evolutionary. We as a species, and our current state of being, Christmas is important to us. And it's way more than just, I don't know, I feel sort of conflicted. It's way more than just this rebirth of consciousness, and yet it's all about the rebirth of consciousness. Where do the things separate and meet? But it's all tied up, and that's why so many people who, I don't know if there's got to be people on this planet that never heard of Jesus Christ, or never heard that term. Somewhere, somehow. With the internet, it's amazing that but somebody doesn't have the internet somewhere. And even though they don't know anything about that whole story, they still feel the energy of Christmas. Because we collectively come together and we shake the consciousness of our reality, of our planet. I don't know if it extends beyond the planet. Not quite sure how all that works, but it's possible. So Christmas is this immense expression of collective consciousness, is what I'm talking about, and for all of mankind. And in the midst of all these threads and different things of meaning, each of us weaves together the experience that is Christmas for us. And there's so many common themes, but each of you has your own little story, an own little pattern, and the own little set of commitments that creates what Christmas is for you. So back to this bigger thing. So I suggest Christmas, the meaning of Christmas, is a quickening of spirit throughout human consciousness that is summoned by a power that is simultaneously within us and beyond us. And this power compels us to open our hearts. That's why we're talking about love. To open our hearts and minds to the awe-inspiring possibilities of true love. True love for one another. And then we have the desire in that blessing, just like you're talking about grace. When you give grace to yourself and you feel good, you just can't help being ready to share it with others. So we have this experience of love, and we want to share that blessing with both physical and what I'll simply call existential gifts, which is the power of Christ. The love of God offered without condition to everyone and everything. This is Christmas. It's like the Hubble telescope, capturing the majesty and splendor of an emerging galaxy. You've seen these amazing pictures, right? They're really beyond description. It stretches the boundaries of our understanding of the power of the Creator. Like, who did that? Right? This Christmas spirit offers a glimpse into the potential of the divine promise, which is oneness with God, oneness with one another, and living together in harmony, creating heaven on earth and for all eternity. Amen. But our ability to comprehend, interpret, and articulate the magnificence of the divine is limited, because we're human. And words aren't enough, and neither are pictures sometimes, even though they're worth 1,000 words. And video, I guess, is worth 1,000,000 words. I don't know. But if we thought of the divine plan as Michelangelo's pictures or not pictures, but his creations on the Sistine Chapel, our attempts to translate the profound truth of that vision is like the stick figure drawings of an infant. We just we're not there. What is available and what is promised and what is in existence is so far beyond our current demonstration of it. And our current demonstration of it is quite amazingly cool most of the time. And yet there's so much more. And every year, that energy of Christmas is about that. It's about the blessing and the gratitude of how much we have and how much we can share, but also the promise of how much more there might be. So when I was younger, there was a total eclipse of the sun. And I was told I couldn't look at the sun because the power of that vision, I'm comparing the sun to God, was so strong that if I looked at it, it would actually damage my eyes and burn me. And so what I had to do was look at a shadow of it. And from the reflection of that power, I got to have some glimpse of the potential of that. And so the Christmas spirit, in the same way, offers a glimpse into the potential of the divine promise. You know, God, even God, struggles to define God. What did he tell Moses? When Moses said, "What should I call you?" He says, "After dinner." No, he said, "I am that I am." That's the best he could come up with. Actually, it's enough. It's great, but still, it's like, I don't know, I'm me. Like people say, "Well, what are you all about?" Well, I'm me. You can just say that. You can say, "I am that I am." You know, some people will say, "I am that I am," and they'll chuckle like Popeye and make a joke out of it, but it's not really a joke. It's really amazing. So, because it's so hard for us to translate the Sistine Chapel into our expression, our demonstration, that's why Jesus, how did he teach us? How did he guide us? Parables, right? Metaphors, allegories. The whole Bible is basically built around that idea. So that kind of led me down to, there's this incredible absolute truth of divine wisdom, and yet there's this fluidity of truth that we use to create Christmas. And we can start with the Bible and talk about, well, I mean, Mark doesn't talk about the birth of Jesus. Neither does John. So those are the oldest and the newest Gospels. In between Matthew and Luke, they thought they'd talk about it, but they talked about it very differently. And I think they just created a story, and we're not so sure that story actually happened. But it doesn't matter. So one of the most significant things that happened to me, and I think I've already shared this with you this year, and it happened this year. So two things happened. I shared it this year, and it happened this year. But as I look at the end of the year, that's another part about Christmas. You kind of collect the whole year, and is Christmas the end of something or the beginning of something? Oh, a lot of different possibilities. But someone said to me in a loving way, as I was correcting someone, never let the facts get in the way of a good story. Now that simple statement has really altered, I'm kind of a smart guy, so I've spent a lot of my life being writer about things. and a certain sense of accomplishment because I do know and understand and can remember and whatnot, and so there's that sense of worth that comes from intellectual ability, which I don't know what that's founded on, but it's one of my deals. So I got to let part of that go because it probably gets in the way as often as it helps, maybe more so. But it's like, wow, what is right? So ultimately I just said, what is a good story? Well, a good story is one that has meaning and purpose. So if the meaning and the purpose are grounded in truth, then the data, the facts, the details are not that important. And that's what Jesus did with the parables. I mean, I don't think all those things happened. And yet, especially in unity, I'm talking to the choir here, people that have gone well past the literal interpretations of the Bible and into metaphysical ideas. But that good story has meaning and purpose. So I want to give you grace, if you even asked for it or needed it, that a lot of the things that we do at Christmas, just checking my audience too. Looks like my audience got older than last week, so that's interesting, because I was really concerned and got some guidance from an angel. Don't you mess up Christmas. But I'm not, because yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. that it's the meaning and the purpose in the stories. That's why we have Aesop's fables. Don't we learn from that? Do you think those stories are true? Grimm's fairy tales? How about Frosty? I was told not to go near Rudolph. Someone said, do not pierce my fantasy. But I know there's reindeer for sure. And it's possible that, like the X-Men, there's a mutant reindeer somewhere out there with a nose. But I think Olive, the other reindeer, I don't think she's real. But maybe Rudolph is. But Frosty, I think it's safe to say that might be fiction. Maybe that snowman did not come to life. But there's a meaning and a purpose in that story, and one of it is the absolute delight of the magic of Christmas. Because there is magic in that hat, and there is magic in what we create with our love. And it's this time of year that, for whatever reason, we let down our guard and we have permission to do it. And we indulge in it, and we create wonderful things. And maybe it's a shame that we can't sustain that all year round. I think that's our goal, is to open our hearts and, all right, the Grinch. How many people think that one's real? I've met a few people that look similar. But Cindy Lou Who, through her just unflinching kindness to the Grinch, enabled him to allow his heart to grow 3 sizes that day. That's magic. And you guys do it. We do it with our love, with what we share. And so that's the meaning of Christmas, is moving toward, through our hearts and our love, that fulfillment of God's promise of heaven on earth. Oh. That's the other thing about truth. Sometimes, I don't want to encourage bad behavior, but sometimes it's just best not to share the whole truth, the complete truth, and nothing but the truth. I know this might sound boorish, but if you happen to see that the steak for your friend fell on the ground and the server put it back on the plate, but by the time you get back to the table, the person's already eaten half the steak, do you think you need to tell them what happened or not? And I'm saying don't tell them. And that grates, because I'm like, you always got to tell the truth. You got to let everybody know. Let them sort it out for themselves. And here's the slippery slope, and that's why I say I'm not trying to encourage bad behavior. I don't want you all to start thinking it's your job to be the arbiter of how other people deal with the truth. You can go to Jack Nicholson in what was the name of that movie? You Can't Handle the Truth, right? There's a Marine. Anybody? Does anybody remember? A Few Good Men. See, it takes a community to tell a good story. I'm trying, but I need you. So you can't handle the truth. Well, who are you to decide what I can handle? But I do think that when it comes, and here's my message, when it comes from love, it's the right thing to do. You got to really check in with yourself when you're doing that. But sometimes glazing over the truth anyway. So in conclusion, what is the meaning of Christmas and what is its purpose? And I think the meaning of Christmas is the demonstration and the celebration of unconditional love. However, as I said before, this is my story, and each of you are free to expand, alter, and redefine that in terms of whatever Christmas means to you. Because that's the freedom that unconditional love brings. Oh. I just think that there's not much more to say. I have here that Christmas is a pursuit irrevocably enhanced by the presence of Christ consciousness in our hearts. A pursuit fundamentally changed by the teachings of a man of humble beginnings who emerged onto the scene 2,000 years ago. And that's where I want to complete this, because that's exactly where we're going to pick this story up that we're weaving. Mostly me, but you're helping me. We're going to talk about that man and the impact he's had on our lives, our consciousness, our hearts. So in simple terms, Christmas, we celebrate the birth of Jesus. And yet we know there is so much more to be continued.
Let the stars in the sky remind us of man's compassion. Let us love till we die, and God bless us everyone. In your heart there's a light as bright as a star in heaven. Let it shine through the night, and God bless us everyone. Till each child is fed, till all men are free, till the world becomes a family. Star by star up above, and kindness by human kindness. Light this world with your love, and God bless us everyone. Till each child is fed, till all men are free, till the world becomes a family. Let the stars in the sky remind us of man's compassion. Let us love till we die, and God bless us every. Let the stars in the sky remind us of man's compassion. Let us love till we die, and God bless us everyone. God bless us everyone.
Thank you, music team. Thank you, Bruce. I stored it all. That's my new word. I'm going to use that a lot now. This morning's service has been filled with prayer and meditation, music, and a message, all inspiring you to be filled with gratitude and joy. In that consciousness, we turn now to the spiritual practice of generosity as you share your financial gifts. It takes a village to raise consciousness. Our collective consciousness is raised as you allow your intellect to be stimulated and your passion to be encouraged. Your financial support of USC allows us to be a presence and support for this collective raise of consciousness in creating a world that works for all. Thank you for sharing your donation with cheer and joy for your spiritual community. If you are sharing your gift in service, please hold it in your hands. If you give through credit card using the square located at the back, or like me, give on your phone, please hold your gift in your heart, and let us bless the offering as we affirm together, I rejoice in abundant possibilities.
Love came down at Christmas, love all lovely, love divine, love was born at Christmas, star and angels gave the sign. Love shall be our token, love be yours and love be mine, love to God and all men, love for plea and gift and sign.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Sorry, wrong section. We dedicate these gifts, serving and loving at the highest level in this spiritual community. We know we are divinely guided. We know that our prosperity is assured. We affirm that rich divine ideas are now ours. We know what to do, and we do it. Because we give greatly, we receive abundantly, and we are grateful. Amen. Unity Spiritual Center gives a portion of our offering to several other organizations, including a special organization that we select each month. This month, we will be giving 1% of our offering to St. Herman's House, Focus, Cleveland. Their mission is to shelter and support homeless men on the path to well-being and independence, and meet the basic needs of people in our community. Thank you for joining us this morning, and a special welcome to any new guests, including those visiting us via the live stream. We are so happy that Spirit has guided you here today with us. Please join us in the community room for coffee and cookies, but first go to the Spirit room and see the kids program. Next week, Bruce Price will return for our fourth Sunday of Advent, and his message is joy, a gift of presence. And our soloist next week will be Trey Gilpin. Please stand as we sing our closing songs, and see you all next week.
With God as creator, and
Thank you, Kate.